Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another episode of the Third Fleet Podcast. This is episode 18, and I'm here with Gaijin Hunter. How are you doing, sir?
Sleep deprived, but very, very, very happy.
I can imagine. So before we even begin, I feel it's important to mention that in this podcast, we're still not going to go into hard spoilers. We probably will not go into hard spoiler territory for a good long while because there really is no need to. Even when we eventually talk about the final boss, we'll just say like, oh, we feel about it like this or like that or whatever, without going too deeply into that fight so that people have plenty of time to enjoy it while still being able to enjoy the podcast. Okay, guys? So don't worry about spoilers. We're just going to be talking about game mechanics, some of the monsters that were announced already and that we already talked about in the podcast, and all of that stuff. But that's like where we stand on it.
If someone feels that even a simple game mechanic being explained that's not, unannounced, something that's already publicly known, if that's a spoiler to you, then I imagine you're not listening to this stuff anyways right now. You're offline and you're having a good time, and more power to you. But if you're here, we're going to be very mindful. So I would say it's safe to say story stuff, unannounced or undetailed monsters, we won't be covering any of that. So we got your back, guys. Because unlike some of the YouTube channels out there, little bastards.
Yeah,
I'm so upset.
The thing is, I made a video about this and we talked about this. We think it's very important that people take their time instead of just like rushing through the game. Even if on my second character that I'm playing now, I'm kind of like beelining it because I want to get back to my main character. But it's like for your first time playing through the game, really take your time. Like I've had people, because of the fact that I did the review, people like, oh, it says that you should take time, blows through the game in 2 days. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I was probably one of the slowest reviewers playing through the game. Like, I think
someone called me out yesterday. They're like, hey, so much for not rushing the game, huh? I'm like, well, I said no rushing it, but I'm binging it. That's the problem. I was like, I have 40 hours in the game already.
It's binging a game and rushing a game are two very different things. When we talk about rushing, we mean like don't just do key quests and next rank, key quest, next rank, key quest, next. Even in my second character, I'm not doing that because I'm like, oh, I want to go craft Mizusune's sword and
I'd
shield.
say my definition of not rushing it is follow your heart. Like if you're playing and something tells you, I'm not really excited about the 3 monsters in my face right now, I just want to progress, then progress. If you stop, you go, oh, I wonder what go ahead and make it. Like if you're curious, go ahead and let your curiosity dictate your playthrough. Because we rushed through mid-game because we love the monsters, but Yuna just was not interested in making any of their stuff. So I was like, okay, we can go up to the next tier. And then we've been taking our sweet time there. But
Yuna just wants that Mizutsune set.
Oh, yeah. Well, she got it. This morning, finally. The damn claws, man, it's back. Desire Sensor is back in top form when it comes to Mizutsune claws. And I don't know what Ichinose was smoking or if he was trolling or what, but when he said like, oh, we lowered the amount of materials you need to craft stuff, I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so instead of 5 claws, you need 4 or something. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, it's like I thought the same thing when I was upgrading my weapons, and people were asking me like, how do you feel about the reduced requirements? I'm like, I don't feel a damn thing. I think it's as hard as it's always been. Like I don't notice any difference.
Which I'm fine with. It's just so funny, but. I love how we don't even start talking about our experience. We're immediately jumping into like minor small things.
But yeah, the thing about that, guys, it's not going to make that much of a difference with how hard it is to upgrade or how easy it is to upgrade. But I did want it to get us grounded at the very beginning, and we have to start. Yes. How was it starting the game with Yuna? So, because you guys first had to do village, I'm assuming. You guys first did village, or did you like break it up and did a little bit of village, a little bit of hub? How'd you guys go about it?
We ended up breaking it up. I mean, probably because we're playing together, so there's not as much incentive for us to just focus on village so much.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the game was so fun, we couldn't put it down, so we just kept playing and playing and playing. So I think we started out, we both did up until Village 3 before we went online. But once we hit Village 3, we decided to do HR1. And we went all the way up to HR3, which is the end of low rank.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, you know what? We probably should go and finish the village, or at least go back to it. But we were in such a rush like that. The end of low rank was so fun in the gathering hall that we didn't want to stop. So we're like, screw it, we'll go for it. So we just kept playing. We got through low rank, and we got into high rank. And then we said, okay, let's stop and let's go back and start cleaning up village a little bit. So we both went back, and we ended up doing the entire village in one sitting.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
All the way through. And that was really fun because, we had not seen any of the cutscenes or any of the monster intros. Like, all that cinematic stuff is the village. So, like, there's lots of reason to not ignore the village. Like, it's quite fun. But that went rather fast.
I was actually surprised by their decision that if you face a monster in the hub for the first time, they don't give you the cinematic.
But you get it when you go back and do it in the village.
Yes, if you then go to the village and face the monster for the first time there, then they give you the cinematic. Although, there are some cinematics that only show up in the hub. Not sure if you've reached that point yet. Yeah. Some of the cinematics only play in the hub. But, what was your thought on the cinematics? Because I purposefully never mentioned them to you. Even when I was playing the game, I never mentioned the cinematics to you because I wasn't sure if you were aware that stuff was in the game or not. What was it like for you?
See, I don't even want to go into details as I don't know if someone listening to this doesn't know, but the monster intro stuff is very different from they've ever done. They've never done anything like that before. And I don't know, I'm assuming, are you playing it with monster language or Japanese or English?
I am so happy that I chose to play in Japanese. I'm so incredible because people told me they actually made those things in English, and I was like, what? I haven't even seen them in English yet.
Oh my God. That's got to be, my sympathy out to the actors, are the voice actors for that, because it's very Japanese, and trying to do that stuff in another language is gonna feel weird. So, like, don't take it easy on them, guys.
Yes,
I have not heard it myself, but that stuff is also very hard to translate. So, I don't think you would be aware, but the Japanese they use is very old. It feels like it's reading ancient Japanese poetry. It's like, it's not the easiest thing. It's not cryptic to the point that my daughter can't understand it, but even she said, she's like, this has got to be really hard to put into English.
Oh yeah.
It's very stylized. It's very cool.
But
that is so unique.
I absolutely love it.
I don't know, or I don't know who the character is, but there's vocals that go with it, and it's just really cool.
Like, it blew me away because, like, the first time that I saw it, it was just like one of the zone intros, and I was like, oh man, I don't like these old movie filters. Because I usually don't like when they artificially make footage bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that. But then when I saw the monster versions of it, I was like, oh my God, this freaking thing is awesome. Just know, guys, that when you do get to the ecology videos, like, seriously, take your time watching those because they are just so juicy.
Can you rewatch? I hope we can rewatch them.
You can. There's a gallery function in your room. You can rewatch all of them. All of the cutscenes, even all of, like, the in-game cutscenes and stuff, you can rewatch all of that.
Yeah, so one of the things that me and Yuna did was, when we were doing Village side by side, I would want to do, this is awesome. I did not know this was in the game. I don't consider this a spoiler, but where in the past games you'd have the key quest, right? Like, you have to do this quest, you got to do that quest, and then you progress.
Yeah.
Now they give you, like, a selection, and they're like, do whichever 3 of these 5, or do whatever these 4 of these 6. It's up to you. So it feels like I have a choice, even though it may not be that much of a choice. We would choose different monsters. She would want to go to one monster. I want to go to another one. So I would immediately skip the cutscene when I went went on my quest, so that when she went on the quest, we could watch it together.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. But the new key quest system is interesting because, like, if you want to go through the game a little bit faster, if there's a monster that you just don't feel like fighting at the time, you can go at it that way. The way that I did it is because I recorded my entire full playthrough, the first one with reactions and stuff. I would record all of the large monsters, and then in between recording sessions, I would go back and do everything else. I just go back in there and like, okay, let's do this thing. And then I would also do repeat monsters in the Gathering Hub and all of that stuff. But now I got to ask you something. How do you feel about the difficulty for the village?
See, I mean, yeah, it's far easier than I think people assume it is. It's quite easy.
Yeah.
I actually like it. I like the idea of them making the village very easy. So I'm gonna call it very easy. I would just say it's easy. It's not very easy, but it's not hard. And I like the idea because I think if there's any way you're gonna try to ease in new players, that is one great way to do it, because you can't get that far in the game through just the village. It's low rank only, right? So you're not breaking the mid to end game experience at all by making that stuff easier. You're just helping them out a little early to get into stuff and introduce to them the themes and the monsters and the locales and stuff like that. So I didn't mind it at all. But I think that the reason why is because I thought that the Gathering Hub, I liked not the difficulty. I would say the health that they have, like that felt good to me.
And the Gathering Hub,
so
you mean?
I didn't. Yeah, the Gathering Hub felt good to me. To the point where then I thought it was okay that story was easier. Some people might be disappointed that it's not hard at all. The village.
Yeah, I was
liked it.
I was a little bit disappointed with the difficulty in Village because, particularly due to the fact that I've played so many hours of Monster Hunter World, right? And the move sets in this game a lot of them are based off of the move sets in Monster Hunter World. I had a lot of experience with, doing those move sets, and then you start adding on top with all of the great tools that they give you in Rise, which basically make the weapons even more powerful. So I was like, so I'm already good at doing this weapon, and now you're going to give me all of these tools that I'm going to get even better at playing this weapon, and then you're going to make the monsters easier. It's like most of the village quests I've finished sub 7 minutes, a lot of them in 5 minutes.
I was gonna say 5 to 7 minutes seems to be about, I think, a good marker for how long village quests last, and I think for the Gathering Hall it's about 7 to 11. It's just like it's like a tier above that.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was thinking though is, like, we know the game so well, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much stuff we don't need to learn, but they're so busy trying to teach you the mechanics of the wire bug, finding all the sub camps, filling out the map. Like, there's so much other stuff that they're trying to teach you at the same time that I kind of like the idea that they're not also forcing you to do long hunts as well. I don't know.
I think the idea there is, like, the village is more for the newcomers, for the players that are coming to Monster Hunter for the first time, whereas veterans are really not going to get that much from the village besides just the little bit of the story experience and, practicing the new tools of the weapon. It feels very much like the village, kind of like a practice ground this time around, rather than some kind of a challenge, which it does have a couple of good aspects, which is something that I've mentioned, that it's very welcoming to new players. Like, this might be the most welcoming Monster Hunter pretty much ever because of how easy the village is. The biggest knock on that take of it being super welcoming is that the learning curve is a little bit higher than usual with all of the wire bug stuff if you're just picking up the game for the first time and you didn't practice in the demo, right? So, and the issue that then happened is because I have a friend of mine that's playing for the first time, and I'm kind of like following his progress, and was that for him, jumping from the village into the hub, it was like, whoa, like, what the hell? It's like
training wheels are off.
Yeah, because whenever I would play with him, basically I equipped like a low rank set on my character with a low rank weapon to make sure that I wasn't like broken overpowered. And then we would go into hunts, and these hunts would take like 15 minutes because he's trying to learn how to counter with the longsword and everything. And so we take like 15-minute hunts, and he's like, whoa, this monster isn't even limping at like 10 minutes. What is going on? And I'm like, yeah, this is the real Monster Hunter. Like, village is just to get you started. But yeah.
But I like the overall quest time. It feels really good to me. Like the hub. Like I said, I think it differs from player to player and how much you want to interact with the environment while you're doing it. But I don't think I've had a hunt last more than 15 minutes unless I got really sidetracked. I think 15 minutes seems like a standard time. I think for like a high rank quest, you would say. Maybe you're faster, lower. I don't know.
High rank, I don't know. Usually I'm a little bit faster than 15, but like on low rank with 2 players with my newbie friend, 15 to 16 is usually what we go through. Yeah.
Yeah. Yuna and I are quite familiar with the game, so we've been getting clear times of generally like anywhere from like 9 to 13 minutes, depending on if it was our first time facing it or whatever. But I don't see hunts going over like 20, 25 minutes or anything crazy like that unless you're purposely under gearing yourself or something.
I think it also depends if you're doing like map exploration or maybe trying to gather some endemic life along the way or trying to do, other interesting experiments because there's so much different experimentation to do with Rise that, it's very easy to just get sidetracked. How'd you
But I like the fact that there is enough time though. If you want to go and hunt the other monsters in the quest, you could totally do it. Like you're not stressing the timer at all.
Yeah. So you guys have been playing local multiplayer, right? Instead of like using the online
Actually,
stuff?
no. We decided to do internet. We don't do online, even though we're right next to each other. We find that the internet is much more stable. I don't know if it's just. I know the switches are weird. Like if I don't move my switch to this end of the room, sometimes I can't even find her room. It's like we're at this like really sensitive area where.
Maybe there's just too much Wi-Fi pollution near you.
Maybe
and that's
I
what's
don't know.
Causing it. Yeah, because like
possibly, but the internet is so fast. Holy crap! Like she can post a room, and I can get in the room in less than 5 seconds. We're already in the same room together. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I actually just did a video about this yesterday. The multiplayer, because multiplayer is one of the things that I didn't get to try out during the review period because there was only like a short window of time, and because of my schedule, I wasn't able to make it. So yesterday and throughout this weekend, I've been doing multiplayer hunts, and it is pretty much flawless. Like I've played with a friend from the States, with me in Portugal. I've played with a friend in the Netherlands, another friend in Germany, and then I just started jumping into random lobbies just to see how that pans out. And like, there's no long loading screen like we had in Monster Hunter World. It is just like super snappy. Fast. You just join somebody else's lobby. You go in. I even have the real load times. I didn't have to edit the video to shorten the load times. It was like, boom, done. You're in.
Yeah, it's like half a second. Boom. You're like, wait, what? And then you see them running around. You're like, oh my God, that was fast.
Yeah, and then you might think, oh, so these things, transitioning through the different spots in the village, like it's super fast when I'm solo, probably going to be slower in multiplayer. No, it's not. You just still go through all of the different. Everything is just instant. I was super surprised. I don't know what kind of sorcery they got going there, but it's pretty crazy.
Oh man, it is pretty crazy. I mean, and the fact is, like, we'll get something, like, Yuna will get something that she can put in her room. She wants to see it, but you can't do that when you're online.
Oh.
She can literally just go up to the little cat, hit a button. She's immediately back to her village. It's like a snap of a finger.
Yeah.
I disappear, and boom, there's no loading at all. She's in her village. She just zips over to her room, sees the thing, comes back, hits one button, boom, she's back in. Like, it is like 1 second. That's all it takes. It's unbelievable.
I am so frustrated in my main character because I always did the lottery every single time with Kagero. I'd go in there, hear the little noise. Okay, lottery time. I never got anything to put in my room. In my secondary character, I'm on stream, and I'm just like, okay, here's the lottery. Boom, one decoration. Next lottery, boom, another one. Next lottery, boom. And I'm just like, dude, come on. My main has nothing.
So 40 hours, we do the lottery every single time.
Yeah.
Yuna has not gotten anything from him. She's missed every opportunity.
Oh, wow.
She doesn't have any other room decos. And I only got one, which was like the crystal that he has there. It was like, really? So like he's been stingy as hell to both of us.
I was super lucky on my secondary character. I don't know why. I think I have statues of Hinoi and Minoto. I have those little two statues.
Fishy dolls, yeah.
Yeah. I have I don't know, I have like two or three more things in that character, but yeah, it's been
stingy. So does it disappear when you hit it? Like, is it no longer on his cart? Or do you still see it?
No, I think you still see it. I think you still see everything on the cart. I'm not sure though.
He needs to give us something.
I didn't pay too much attention to it, to be honest. But yeah.
But he's been very, very kind to us when it comes so far to charms. So I guess I'll forgive him.
You
Although
guys,
we're not technically into the fun part of the game yet. I'm only HR 6, so we're in high rank, and we're just now getting into the beginning of the top tier monsters.
yeah.
So like we don't have all the good methods for making decorations yet.
The good melding methods for charms and the good decorations as well. I actually spent way too many materials on charms early on, and my advice is like, guys, don't blow all of your materials on the first couple of melding rituals. That's a bad idea.
All I know is, like, I don't know if I'm sure you feel the same. I am always out of Zenny. Always out of money.
Yes, very much so. This game.
Oh, I'm selling stuff crazy, and so like I've read online what Japanese players are doing. I haven't done it. I'm going to do it tonight, and if it works really good, I'm going to make a route, and that's going to be my first video. My first contribution to the community is how to get rich.
How to get Zenny.
Oh my God, there's always out of Zenny in this game.
The Zenny is insane because like this is the first time that. Because eventually when you get into Endgame and you start splurging on all kinds of different weapons, that's a different thing. So like in World, I just started splurging at the end of the game, and I was completely out of Zenny, and that was to be expected. But at the moment that you kind of like finish the game, like when you beat the bosses and all of that stuff, you're usually pretty well off when it comes to Zenny. Like you don't have to worry about it at all. Whereas me, it's like I crafted like 3 or 4 gun lances. That's it. I couldn't even afford to upgrade my armor anymore. I was like, what the hell is going on? It's just like
so what I've heard what people are doing is they're making there's the geologist. No, it doesn't work like it does. You can't get extra drops or anything, but you put in geologist 3. I think it's just the Hunter S, the Leather S set has it. And then you look for a locale that has an upsurge in ore mining. And then you take 2 collect cats and you just go and you ore the shit out of the map. And then you sell everything. And apparently in like 10 minutes you can make something like 200,000 Zenny.
One thing that
I'll have to try it out.
One thing that I've noticed is that you can buy stuff off of Rondine for points, and then you can sell it.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard very late game, I guess they start getting more generous with some of the items that she sells, so you can start converting points to Zenny.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I do pretty much in between every quest now. I just go to Rondine. Hey, baby, you got that good stuff for me? Can I give you some
Yuna
of
doesn't
these
like
points?
Rondine at all.
Oh.
Yuna doesn't like her at all. So she won't even go to talk to her, but she has to because she needs honey.
Why does she not like Rondine?
I think I like her voice in Japanese a lot, but I think she comes off as very pompous and very, full of herself in a way. In the way that she talks, and I think that bothers Yuna for some reason.
No.
She's like, I don't like people who talk like that.
I like me a strong, independent woman. Rondine,
yes.
Best waifu in the game, straight up.
Nah, man, it's still Minato. Have you seen the little like just like World? They've got all these little fun animations. If you sit there and just watch the NPCs, they'll do really quirky stuff.
Yeah,
there's a really funny one for Minato. Have you seen that one?
I might have. Is it the one where she's eating dango? I mean, I've seen her eating dango a bunch of times. No, then I might have missed it.
Yeah, because...
Oh, no, wait, that's Noah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I was going to say. But Minato will, like, whip out a piece of paper and very comically draw something. Quick look at it and say, oh, shit, this didn't go right. And she'll quick crumble it up and throw it underneath the desk. And then she'll be like, and she'll cough. And like nothing happened. It's so funny.
Those are always so good. It's like...
What I'm disappointed is I've been looking online. I figured someone else would do the hard work, so I never did it. But now I think I might do it. Which is, can you recreate Minato in the character create system? I thought somebody would do this from day one. I thought they would come up with all the settings that look just like her and that they would share them online and we'd be able to copy her face. But no one has done it. So it's like... Is it just that hard, or has no one actually thought of doing it?
I don't think I've seen her haircut. Have you seen her haircut?
Maybe that's why people aren't doing it. Yeah, maybe you don't have her hair. That's why.
Or maybe you have to buy her hair because I think that they've done some microtransaction stuff where you can buy Minato's voice.
Right now it's only Hinoa. Yeah, we bought that day immediately before we even started playing the game. Yuna likes foxes. I do too. But she saw the fox mask that you get if you buy the DLC. Yeah. It's really nice. I saw Hinoa's voice, and I'm like, bought. So that was 4,000 yen immediately out of our like. I had no problem at all.
How much is that in Uncle Sam's bucks?
Like 20 USD for the pack.
Okay. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they're a PSA for everybody. Capcom's been trying to get this out there, but there is a game-breaking bug. The QA guys really screwed up on this one. So when you buy the DLC pack, it comes with 2 new gesture packs. There's like the I think I don't remember the first one, but the other one is like you're taking damage, so you can like go through all the different poses of your hunter taking damage. It's pretty comical for taking photos. If you register that DLC gestures to either your radial window or your shortcuts, and then you quit the game, you try to load your save data, you can't load the game. It totally breaks the game. Your save data gone. You can't load it.
It corrupts the save files?
So I think the problem is when you try to load your save data, it validates and starts loading in all your customized sets and your shortcuts. Some QA tester must have missed it, because if you had the DLC one, it seems to fail and come up to an error when it tries to read it. And instead of just defaulting, it'll then just say, sorry, can't read the save data. And there's no way to fix it.
I've heard.
So they have a PSA going out there warning people, do not save these things to your shortcut or your customization. Take them off. We're going to try to patch this immediately, but just like don't do it. So you all been warned, because that's just horrible.
Yeah, I have heard from a couple of people saying that their save files got corrupted. I wonder if that is why, because I've been playing with 2 different saves, no problem so far. But then again, I don't usually.
That seems to be what it is.
I don't tend to put that stuff on the wheel. I just go through the menus to do the gestures and stuff. So I guess I got lucky there. But then again, I don't have specifically that DLC. But yeah. I did get lucky though. I did get very lucky. Nintendo sent me a care package, and I got the collector's edition. I got Magnum Malo. Dude, he looks freaking amazing.
We got our 3 amiibos too. Those are great. Oh man, the amiibo lottery is so helpful.
I don't have the other 2 amiibos though. I need to go see if I can find. Dude, I can't even find the Switch Pro controller because I want to buy it. The Magnum Malo Switch Pro controller.
It's totally sold out here.
Yeah.
You can't get it. Yeah.
I've ordered it off of an online store, hoping that they'll eventually get some stock, but I don't know. It's looking pretty dire right now. I've already seen that other stores in Portugal already marking it up. They're like, you want this Switch? Here. You want the Switch Rise? No, but these are retailers. The retailers are marking it up. They're just like, want this sweet limited edition? That'll be 99 euros, baby. And I'm just like, damn, no thanks.
That's just wrong.
That's a little bit out of my pocket.
It sucks as I had to buy a new Pro Controller again yesterday. This is my 5th goddamn Pro Controller. I'm so upset because I love the controller, but the build quality is crap. At least the one we keep getting unlucky, because Yuna wasn't using the Silkbind attacks. And I'm like, you should be using them. They're great. And then so she started using them, and she's like, I can't activate it. And we realized that her ZL button doesn't respond. It responds when she does the wire bug though. But it doesn't respond when she tries when she tries to do hold it and then press A to do the Silkbind attacks. It doesn't respond.
It's like this is so funny because I have the opposite problem on my controller. Like a lot of times, I'll be like swinging around and suddenly plunging attack, and people are probably like, Ruri sucks, and I'm just like, no, I'm pressing the right goddamn buttons. It's not working. Like I have so many issues with this controller. Like
we bought our 5th one, and I'm like, that's like $400 in controllers. That's just stupid.
The thing on mine is that I have to smash the ZL button to make sure that it works. I can't just like lightly. And I'm used to because I want to keep my things in good working order. So like I'll press the buttons with as least force as possible to make sure that they last longer. And then when I just like gently tap the trigger, this controller is like, nope. And it's the same thing for running. Like I have to smash the R button to make the character run. And it's very frustrating. Like I don't know what it is. But it's interesting to see that I'm not the only one with issues on the Switch Pro, because usually whenever I talk about it. No, but here's the thing. Whenever I talk about it with a lot of my friends, that they usually just tell me, nah, dude, my Switch Pro is amazing. No problems whatsoever. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's the luck of the draw, I guess I didn't read too much into it, but someone keeps linking me to a story that apparently the manufacturer that does Xbox and PlayStation, it's all the same place, which is why this generation, it seems that there's a lot of people getting faulty and bad controllers, whether it's drift, whether it's a button not responding or something. It's just a really bad generation for controllers. So I say this is a very appealing. I think if it happens again, I'm gonna look at the third-party controller because it's so annoying at this point. I do not want to spend that much money again on a controller.
Yeah, and it's the thing, because like you want to get the official one to make sure that you have all the functionality, like the gyros working properly, all of the buttons, the HD rumble. You're like, I want all the features. And then you get it, and you end up getting screwed, because a lot of people still talk about, obviously, Joy-Con drift on the Nintendo Switch, because that's still very much a real problem. Like I took apart my my right Joy-Con very early on, and I just replaced the analog stick from some analog stick I ordered in from China. It was actually like super cheap for like $8 or whatever it was. I got 2 different analog sticks, so even if another one breaks down, I can replace it. And I got to really learn the inner workings of the Joy-Con. But
I guess we should mention this for people, because there's a lot of people who do not have the game yet. I've noticed that shipping has been really bad for a lot of countries. So a lot of people are still waiting to play the game, but a lot of people kept asking me about Rumble, and the game does have Rumble. I'm very happy to say that. So it's got HD Rumble, actually.
It is HD Rumble? That's one of the things that I was wondering, because I don't know if it's my controller, because at this point I just don't know how faulty this thing is, but it's very subtle, the Rumble, right? It's not like overbearing.
It's not like Xbox or PS where like your controller would fall off your damn desk if you were fishing or something. It's like
no, it's a very subtle rumble, but it's definitely
nice.
there.
It gives you some nice feedback,
Yeah, I've got a lot of people. That was one of the biggest things that people kept asking me was, does it have rumble? Because during the demo it didn't, and here's the thing: if it didn't have rumble, I would be like with so much egg on my face, because whenever people asked me during the demo, they were just like, "Oh, you think the final game's gonna have rumble?" I would always be like, 100% the final game will have rumble. I mean, Generations Ultimate has HD rumble. There's no way that Rise doesn't have rumble. And then once the final game came out, I was like, yeah, okay, it's got rumble. Thank God. I don't want to have egg on my face. So what weapons have you been playing so far? I mean, I know you've been maining the Switch Axe, right?
Yeah, so I mean, I went in there like, okay, I'm going to main Switch Axe. And the problem with this game is, one, you're always out of damn Zenny. So you're not always using the weapon of your choice unless you want to go out of your way to farm for it. And just the way that the weapons open up, for someone who can use more than one weapon, it's very enticing to quick jump to another weapon earlier and then jump back to your main weapon, so to say. So I've been doing all sorts of weird jumping. So I was doing Switch Axe for the majority. Then once we got into high rank, I went to light bow gun, because the Izuchi light bow gun is just amazing. It's just so good.
What's so good?
It's a rapid pierce one. It's so good.
Rapid pierce. Jesus
Rapid Pierce
Christ.
1 is so good. I mean, that's what we had in the demo, but it's much better than the demo. It's
how many rounds
really
did it fire?
good.
2 or 3?
Well, if I would Yuna tried asking me, how much damage did you do per hit? I'm like,
lots.
How many? Oh, she asked me how many hits are you doing? I'm like,
no,
I don't know how to. It's like 16 to 18 hits. I can't count all these.
It's not.
There's just too many because it's on rapid.
It's not the hits, because I'm more about, you said it's rapid, so it goes like pa pa pa, right? So it's three hits that it does, or is it 2?
Yeah, it shoots 3, and then all those pierce rounds do like 5-6 hits themselves. So it's like a ridiculous amount of hits.
Three attacks.
And this bow gun's got like no recoil. It's got with one little charm deco, it's got fast reload. I'm like shooting this thing like I'm shooting off like the Alatreon light bow gun. It is so good. The only problem is that I constantly run out of latch berries, so I need to get latch berries to make pierce ammo, because you just shoot through them so fast. Yeah. So what I do at the start of every hunt is I have to filter it so that I only show latch berries, and then I figured out that I kind of need to use a Palamute when I'm doing bow gunning, because I do need to run to the next area to grab a latch berry, which is 40 rounds. So you grab it, and boom, you get 40 more rounds, and like I have to do that like 2 or 3 times during the hunt. So it's kind of annoying to do without a dog, so I do use a Palamute for that. But then I did a little bit of Insect Glaive just because there was a really strong one available. But I'm finally back to Switch Axe again. So I've been having little weird little varying left and right, but I've stayed pretty hardcore on Switch Axe. Yuna was gonna play bow, but she ended up taking up the hunting horn. And she's been playing the hunting horn all the way up until mid high rank, and now that we've got to Mizutsune in high rank, we made the full set together, and now she made its bow, and so now she's gonna start using bow. There just wasn't any interesting picks for her early game for bow. She just didn't see anything that she liked.
I had a very different path from yours. I literally just played Gunlance. Just Gunlance.
That's it.
All the way through my first playthrough, because due to the way that switch skills work and how they kind of like change the way a weapon works, and due to the fact that the Gunlance has 3 different shelling styles, I was always learning new things. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to start with normal. Then I'd play normal shelling, boom, full burst. Okay, this is awesome, really good. And it's like, okay, there's a long shelling Gunlance here. Let's try that out. And I'm like trying charge shells with long shelling. And I'm like, I don't know about this. Then I go and I compare it to like the damage of full burst. And I'm like, oh, you can actually do full burst with long shelling in this game because you have that additional shell. And it's like, and then eventually...
So much to do with just one weapon, yeah.
And then wide shelling, whenever I started playing with that, I'm like, this is just like a completely different weapon. Like, I don't even know. Like, Chaos Slayer, who only plays the Gunlance, he calls it the Stun Lance, the wide shelling style, because you can stun monsters with it. It's it's pretty crazy. So that mixed with switch skills, like when I first got access to Blast Dash, I was like, oh, man, forget about everything.
So I was going to send you a picture, and I forgot to in all my hype. But the other day, Gunlance was trending on Twitter in Japan. I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
Just for you, I took a picture of it because I thought I've never seen Gunlance trending. And it's because people were just getting their hands on the weapon, and they said, I don't need a wire bug. I've got the blast attack. And there were some really funny clips of people just using it.
Yeah, it's really crazy because of the fact that you can chain it 3 times. So that's Gunlance in Japanese.
Yeah, it says Gunlance trending gaming. When I saw that, I took a screen cap for you. I was like, Yuri would be so happy.
Oh man, that's actually friggin' sweet. But it's been pretty crazy because I think that a lot of people are trying the Gunlance for the first time, and they are really, really enjoying it. Like they've really, this is the best iteration of the Gunlance.
So I'm curious. I almost feel like we're gonna get that for every weapon at this point. I've been watching and reading people's tweets, and everybody seems to say this is my favorite version of blank insert weapon name. Like this seems like they just nailed it. I don't know of any. There's some complaints about the damage output of the hunting horn, I know, but outside of actual mechanics, I've not heard one person say anything like, yeah, it kind of robbed, or I'm not happy with it. Like, everyone seems super happy with everything.
Yeah, like, I've also been playing Sword and Shield, because those are my 2 favorite weapons, the Gunlance and the Sword and Shield. So my second character, the one that I'm streaming, so that people can see the progression and all that, I'm streaming that on the channel. And that character, I've been pretty much doing Sword and Shield to the exclusion of everything else. And Sword and Shield is also incredibly fun. It's like they unlock the 2 skills that kind of like change the play style of the Sword and Shield. Like, do you know what changes with it, with the Sword and Shield?
Well, you told me there's the aerial style, or is that Dual Blades you were telling me? Because I know Dual Blades has that, and I tried that out, and that was amazing.
So yeah, Sword and Shield straight up. You know the advancing slash? You trade that for a sliding slash that sends you upwards. So it's basically aerial style. Like your advancing attack is aerial style.
Your forward attack, no more slingshot. You just do a little jump forward and boom, you vault.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, they flat up took aerial style and they added it in the game without touching my combo paths either. So it's even better.
Yeah, and the other switch skill for the Sword and Shield is they remove the shield bash combo, and they give you remember that skill,
the drill thrust or whatever.
You remember the blade dance skill for the Sword and Shield, where you start doing, and then at the end you do a thrust and then remove. They just add that at the end of your shield combo instead. And it feels so good because that thing does like 3 or 4 hits, and according to the description, does more elemental damage. And I'm just like, sweet, one of each element, and here we go. That's pretty much been the experience. So those two things together are actually a lot of fun because you can chain the aerial into a shield bash coming down, and then you just continue to shield bash. So you're doing tons of elemental damage with the drill attack, and at the same time you're doing KO damage with the two shield attacks that you're doing in between.
Yeah.
It just feels so friggin' fantastic. And on top of it, you still have Perfect Rush, which works exactly like it used to, with the difference that it sends you up in the air as well. And I was like, dude, this is insane. There's so many crazy combo paths.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess in that kind of regard, I like the fact that the game is not hard. It's pretty comfy, is a good way to put it. Because it's literally a playground. There's so many fun things to try out and mess around with that it reminds me of Generations, where I think the difficult part will start to come once they add in DLC stuff and like the harder stuff. We'll get our challenge, but for now, it's really comfortable. And so like screwing around is like, I don't feel bad about it at all. And the switch axe is interesting because the switch attacks really change how you approach the weapon. Like they seem like, oh, okay, that's cool. It's just no, it's a big difference because like the power files, this is the first time I'm not using power file at all. Like, I'm purposely avoiding it. Where normally power files and switch axe are just OP, and that's all anybody ever used, is a complete opposite now. Because it takes that much longer to get into the amp state using a power one. The power ones are easy to craft, they have better raw, they're more powerful, but you've got to approach them differently because you can't get into an amp state that easily. So there's some switch skills that are very tricky to do, but they'll help you get your amp state up faster. Like that downward soaring thrust is pretty hard to pull off. But if you do, that's another thing that can help you out quite a bit. Where if you have something like an elemental type, or like I'm using paralysis right now, you don't even have to think about it. Like that stuff becomes, there's different options available to you because your amp gauge goes up faster. You don't have to think about it. So it's just really interesting how they do that.
Are there still exhaust files?
Yeah, there is.
They're still okay, because I was pretty sure that they were still there. I haven't really checked up on that tree too much.
I cannot wait to make one of those. I want to clutch on the face. I want to KO some monsters with that thing. Because when you get into amp state, you'll get all the stuns. So if all you gotta do is do some super amped on the face, I just be knocking out monsters in style, man.
But the paralysis style, that's new, right? Or am I wrong there?
No, they've had it. But the cool thing is now because when you go into amp state, your axe gets the files just like your sword. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun.
I remember saying when I saw that for the first time in the weapon trailer, when I saw that you still had the amp state and axe mode, I was like, guys, this right here, friggin' game changer. Like, you don't understand. This is crazy for this weapon. And I don't even play the weapon that much, but I was like, this is friggin' insane. Because then you also have
I'm having a lot of fun,
the thing to buff the axe damage and whatnot. That it's pretty friggin' crazy.
But there's that one skill that changes everything, which is rapid morph.
Oh, you mean an armor skill? Yeah, that was something that I was I was experimenting with charge blades. So when I've been playing with my friend in low rank, I've been trying to get to terms with the charge blade in Rise, which didn't really feel good to me in the demo. And now it's starting to click a little bit more. Still doesn't feel like it's there yet. And I think that's the reason why. I think they actually nerfed the weapon slightly, and you need rapid morph to get it to the speed levels that you used to have back in World. I'm not sure if that is the case. I'm still kind of like inching my way, but I definitely started feeling a little bit better about it when I equipped a piece of Almudron.
I mean, I would have to test it, but I think if they did make it any slower, it wouldn't be any more than one level difference. It's not that bad, at least for Switch Axe for sure.
I don't know. It's just like for the charge
was
blade.
Was it Volvidon?
Volvidon? What?
Volvidon has rapid morph early on in the game, and I got that on there with some Almudron, and I had the level 3 rapid morph. Oh my god, it's because that changes how you use your switch abilities as well. Because some of the switch attacks for that weapon are really weird. Like the forward axe thing, it's a very long commit, but allows you to morph into. No, the one that you can switch out for that. It's like a forward. Like lax hit, but it's pretty slow. It brings you forward quite a bit. It's hard to hit, but then you can go straight into a double slash morph from it, which is unheard of, and it builds up your slash gauge, like your amp so fast. The thing is that if you got rapid morph 3 on, that thing becomes a beast. So it's like, I can go on and on about Switch. I could talk for an hour about the Switch Axe. I'm so happy with it. It's so good.
It's funny you say that you can go on about an hour. You know how long my Gunlance guide is?
An hour?
It's 50 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane.
But it's funny because I'm also running out of Zenny now because when I switch a weapon, right? So I was using Switch Axe. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to use the Insect Glaive a little bit. I immediately want to craft 5 really shitty Insect Glaives really fast because that opens up the second skill. So I just craft like the Iron one, I upgrade it once, the Bone one, update it once, the Ore one, update it once, and make one, boom, you're done. You got your second switch skill. It's that easy. But you also run out of Zenny when you do that.
Yep.
It's like, damn it. But and now we're far enough in the game that we have, the ability to unlock the final switch skills. But the switch skills are all interesting. None of them, at least so far, the balance seems to be really good. Like they don't make the weapon better or worse. They're just different, and it's just, I can't wait to see all the different creative ways people are going to play these things.
Yeah, it's weird because in a lot of them, I just once I switch it, I'm like, I don't know that if I want to go back to the old way. Like I'll swap Charge Shell for Blast Dash, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want to go back to Charge Shell. Like this is pretty fun. I don't want to go back.
Yeah, so for Switch Axe, for me, it depends on the file type. Some files I find work better with different switch skills. It's just the nature of the way of the amp gauge. The Hunting Horn, I'm still not feeling the mode change one for Echo. I've got to test it around more and figure out what's really going on under the hood. But yeah, but Gunlance, it sounds like all the switch skills are good. So
yeah, the one that I'm not a huge fan of yet is Guard Reload. And the main thing about it is because there was already a Guard Reload in Generations Ultimate, which was the Valor thing where you kind of like spin it around and you get a guard point. That to me was much more interesting because that attack had follow-ups if you were able to block with it. This one doesn't. There's no follow-ups.
You get your Wyvern Stakes.
But you get the Wyvern
Stake.
Stake.
The Wyvern Stakes.
Yeah, so, it's I think that particular one is mostly for wide shelling, and the reason why I'm not too into it is because I'm not too into wide shelling, but I gotta play some more around with the wide shelling to figure out how much I like it or don't like it. Because throughout the game, I'm having too much fun with normal and long, particularly long. Because like what they did with long shelling is that they wanted it to have the best Wyvern Fire, right? So what they did is they add an additional damage tick to it. So Wyvern Fire is 3 damage ticks. With long shelling, it's 4. It's just like, here you go. It's like 100 more damage on your attack. Boom, done. And I was like, oh, so good.
So many cool changes across the board. But I mean, everything about this game, I'm absolutely like, I don't know if it's like, what do they call it, the rose-colored glasses, like we're still in the infatuation point, and
still
there's a few things I can criticize. There's a few things I already am like, I'm not a fan of that, but it's everything I wanted and more. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like
the one.
Go
I want to ask you a question because this has to relate to your favorite girl, but all the menus and UI in the game I love. I think they're great. I think it's probably the best UI Monster Hunter has ever had. However, there's one menu that I find confusing. Even 40 hours later, I'm still getting tripped up on it, and that's Rondine's goddamn menu.
Yep.
It trips me up every single time. I'm like, how is this thing so unintuitive when every other menu is so good?
Yeah, there's definitely something there because I myself, I'm constantly getting confused. And when you're trying to change the thing that your pal is getting, she gives you this message like, this is going to cancel everything. And I'm just like, does it mean I'm going to lose the materials? Like, what is going on here? This is so weird.
Oh, you didn't hit confirm. And then it's like, then you send out the buddy. Then it's a different menu. You have to go back in again. Then you got to choose the method. It's like, what the hell happened there? Every other menu is so good.
Let me explain to you, okay? Rondine is foreign to the lands of Kimura, all right? So there's a language barrier, and that's why her UI is more complicated.
Yes.
it's
inside the boat. If you look, you can see the EA logo inside the boat.
No, it's a feature. It's intentional so that you understand that she's not from around there. So communicating with her, there's a couple of
hiccups.
They really should do something about Rondine's menu. It is really confusing because there's just so many sub menus in so many different ways. I think it's one of those things where because I've done programming in the past, and it's one of those things where if you're the one working on it, Like to you, it feels natural because you designed it and you're just like, oh, okay, this feels great. But someone comes in from the outside and they're like, what? How does this make any sense in your head? Like, what are you saying? So yeah, that menu is a little bit wonky.
The other part I was curious about, and that's great to hear that you agree.
Yeah.
The other part I wanted to ask you and see if you agree with is, I think balancing wise, the game and the pacing has been very good. But there's one thing I feel was kind of weird, which was at the very end of low rank feels like they messed up, because at the very end of low rank they unlock certain things that only make sense in the context of low rank. And so it's like, were they assuming people were only going to do Village before they go online? Because they unlock, when you go through Village, they give you the ability to get the commendations, right? So it's like the final upgrade for the low rank weapons. But the thing is, by the time you get to those quests, you already have access to high rank weapons. So it's like, why would I even waste my time? Unless they're going to be necessary when you get to the upgrade pass later on down the line.
Yeah, they are.
That just seemed a little weird.
They are, so which is really weird, because, like, for instance, right now, there's no sense in me doing village quests because, you know, I've finished the village, I did all the quests, loved it, sure, great. But now there's one weapon that I need a Kimura ticket for, and I'm just like, I've been hunting a bunch of stuff in the Gathering Hub and no Kimura ticket, because I think you can only get those from the village.
That's the other thing, is they give you Kimura tickets at the end of low rank. And they're basically baiting you into, like, making, there's like certain armor sets that you can make, right? And the Kimura tickets are at a premium. You can only make like half of one, not even a full set. But if you waste it right there and then, you immediately find out that there's a high rank version that you should have saved it for. And it's like, damn it. So, like, my advice, do not use your Kimura tickets until you know you want to use them. They are a premium in this game.
They are,
and I think the way that you earn them is by doing village quests. So they're trying to encourage you to go back and do village, I think.
And village Rampage as well, I think.
Yeah.
which doesn't really make a lot of sense, because, like, after you finish the village, why do you need
solo?
Why? No, it's not even about doing it solo. It's just like there's no advantage to you doing village quests once you're done. Unless you just feel like redoing them for some reason. You're not even going to get like materials.
And the commendations, they should have unlocked them earlier. I don't know why they unlocked them at the very end.
Yeah, I agree. That stuff should have been unlocked earlier for sure.
But so far, man, the music though, I'm curious. Like, what if you were to rank the battle themes for the 5 maps? What's the order? What's your favorite?
I think probably
Me and Yuna
Rampage.
We're the same.
I think Rampage is probably my favorite.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one yet. So, okay.
And
regular areas.
And another one is probably Arena. It's like the regular areas are very close to me, but like Arena and Rampage for some reason is just like right up in there. I friggin' love it. And let me tell you, we haven't talked about Rampage yet, so I'm very curious. How do you and Yuna feel about Rampage? I mean, you have to do the village one solo, but then you guys got to play it in multiplayer. So you have a pretty good idea of how you feel about Rampage.
Yes, so that's the thing, because the game doesn't shove it down your throat. So we've only done 3 Rampages so far. That's it. Just the ones that the game gives you. So you get like, you know, a few in the village and you get like a few online. Those are the ones that we did. But I'll tell you, man, we had a riot when we did the... not Nushi, what's the English? The Apex.
Apex Arzuros? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was a riot. Like, I don't think I've ever been... We were screaming and yelling and like, we gotta get him. No, there's an actor. He's in the way. God damn it, get down here. Like, someone shoot him down. And so she's like, I got him. She grabs a cannonball and knock him out of the air. We're like, the boy. Like, should we ignore him? Is he getting destroyed? I don't know what's going on. This is crazy fun mayhem. We had such a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works when you get to the harder ones, but the Apex Arzuros was absolutely fantastic. That hunt was truly memorable. That was a 10 out of 10 for me.
It was, but wait.
I don't know how it would feel. Going alone, though, would feel kind of weird. But doing it with 2 people was beautiful. I really had a good time.
But wait, I just realized something, because like I'm so hyped and I'm a little bit sleep deprived that I forgot I didn't let you say which ones were your favorite themes. We'll get back to Rampage.
No, you I guess don't want to commit to any of the normal maps. You said they all seem about the same to you.
I mean, they're not the same. Let me think real quick. I think From the normal maps, it might be Sandy Plains. Because there's just something about Sandy Plains. I just really dig it. But go ahead.
Interesting. No, our favorites, we're both the same. It's the Frost area is our favorite when it comes to the songs. That's actually Yuna's favorite area, period. She loves that map.
The map is really cool.
Second one for us is Lava Caverns. That's my actual favorite map, and that's our second favorite theme song. There's something about that thing that it's almost like it's got this like proof of a hero DNA that like it just gets you going. You feel all heroic and shit. It's crazy. But and the monsters there are a riot.
But the thing about it is that there's just so many good tracks this time around that it's very hard, to really just pick, which is one of the things that I've said it and I'll stick by it, which is this to me has been the best soundtrack I've seen in a Monster Hunter game, like straight up. Like, sure, it doesn't have Poke Village.
Because, like,
it doesn't have Poke Village, okay? Poke Village is still up there, of course, but still.
It's crazy because, like, the lead composer this time is new to Monster Hunter, and I think he was doing Resident Evil stuff before this. I remember Googling him, and he was from the Resident Evil team. I'm like, man, all of their composers at Capcom have such a wide breadth of talent. They can do tons of genres and tons. It's just amazing what they did with the soundtrack this time.
Well, Ryozu needs to like nab that from the Resident Evil team. Be like, no. Hey, listen, you work for us now.
He's he's now a Monster Hunter composer. We're not giving him back.
Yeah. You guys can't have him anymore. It's really good. That's not to say that previously Monster Hunter soundtracks were not good. They were also very good, but this time it was exceptional.
I do find it funny though when we have to go back to the Shrines map. Yuna always groans.
Well,
because we overplayed it in the demo.
Yeah.
And that in the map is actually interesting how simple and small that map is compared to the lava caverns. It's like day and night.
You see, that's something that I actually don't agree with. I actually don't agree with that statement. Yeah. Let me tell you why. I do think that map is slightly smaller than the other ones, but not probably for the same reasons that you're going to say, because I think the reason the Shrine Ruins feel so small is because we've spent so much time on it. We spent way too much time, because I remember looking at, for instance, the Frost Islands map the first time that we saw the gameplay. And I remember looking at that map and I was like, wow, that map looks small. It looks even smaller than Shrine Ruins. And then you go in there, and when you're actually playing, it's like, this map is not a small map. Like, this is a big map. And then you go into the Sandy Plains, and you're like, this map is huge. Like, this is a massive friggin' map, dude. And again, I think that it's just the fact that we spent so many hours in Shrine Ruins, it just feels smaller because you know every nook and cranny.
See, I don't know, because me and Yuna have done racing several times already, because I am now using Palicos when we're online, and she's using Palamutes. And so we've had fun, and we've raced at least 2 times on every map, where she's like, there's no way you're going to beat me to this area. I'm like, sure there is. And we would race it all the way down, and the time, it's a much larger map in my opinion. Like, I should compare them. Like, going from one end to the other takes a lot longer. I think there's just a lot more distance. And then you also have the levels, like the bottom and the top as well.
Compared to what? You're comparing it to Frost Islands?
Sorry, Shrine versus the lava caverns. I think.
Oh, the lava caverns. Yeah.
Lavern to me, I think, is double the size when you talk about area.
I think lava caverns is just more mazy. Like, it's a lot harder for you to get around, but it might also be bigger. Yeah, because you have that area in the water and you have the area in the lava.
I mean, there's a reason they give you 3 camps, right? There's a reason for that.
Yeah, that map is a little bit weird to go around.
But I love that map so much, though. It's such a fun map.
One of the things that I love about lava caverns is the contrast. How you go from like this lava-filled area to this blue water area. It's just, you have the red and orange from the lava and the blue and like mossy green from the water area. There's a big color contrast that feels very, very nice.
Yeah. But the maps all feel great. I think there's a great contrast between all of them. The nostalgia for man and the sandy plains or whatever, when you're going down the one area that feels very new, and then you turn the corner, you're like, oh, that's where I fought my first Kudapeko, or that's where I fought my first Great Jackie. It's like there's the flood of memories as a third fleeter was just almost unbearable, like almost break me down to tears. It was just so welcoming to see, like, I know this area. It felt so good.
I find it interesting that some people are actually talking about that in a negative way. They're like, oh, it's just map. It's just a map from like the friggin' from Monster Hunter 3 from the third generation. And I'm just like, what? It's just a map from the third generation? What are you talking about? Look at how
it's been re-envisioned. It's unbelievable.
Exactly. Look at what this map looks like now. What do you mean? It's like I don't understand. I think that some people just want to complain for the sake of complaining. Is everything okay?
Oh yeah, Yuna was giving me weird looks. I think I asked her to buy me some. I asked her to get me a drink, but they were sold out. Oh, well. I was aiming for some hot lemon tea, but they weren't sold.
Okay, so the another thing that I want to, you remember how we talked about Palicos and Palamutes? So how did you play when you were in the village? Did you stick to your guns?
Did I stick to my guns? No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. No, I went dog.
So you went Palamute and Palico.
Well, the thing is I was throwing my cat into the dojo trying to level it up. And this is the case with every Monster Hunter game, but it's almost pointless because by the time your cat levels up to like level 15, you can scout level 18 cats. It's like, why did I even waste my time? That's in every game though. But I was using the Palamute basically because I like gathering, and I found it very easy to run around and gather stuff on the dog. And then I started to realize, I was like, oh, and I heard your voice in my head actually, like, see, I told you, like, and I could hear him, and I was like, no. It's like I got to stop doing this. So the moment we got to start playing online, outside of bow gunning, which again I have to do, I think the dog is much better because you're gathering ammo. Now I'm using a cat because the cat collects so much, like you were saying when you're playing. It's really nice.
Yeah.
But I concede that there is some massive selling points to having a dog, and I can see why it's popular.
Yeah, because just the fact that you can start running around and just sharpening. It's like, oh, the monster is attacking me. I need an opening to sharpen. Call the dog, sharpen, keep going. It's super convenient.
Yeah, it's a little too good. Yeah, because I realize as well.
I told you.
Everything's so fast in this game, right? It's a very fast-paced and action-oriented. So one of the few remnants of the slow Monster Hunter is standing there and sharpening your darn weapon.
Yeah,
it's mitigated by using a dog.
Yeah, straight up. If you have the dog, boom. And the dog is.
So I wish they would make it so that if you were stationary, it means that you're focused more on doing it. If you can have one less sharpen, like one less animation, if you do it on the ground, I think it would have been better.
You know what would be even better is if you have a Palico. When you stop the sharpen, he runs over there and he starts sharpening the weapon with you real fast. And it would it would be slightly faster if you have the Palico, like maybe one or two sharpens. Yeah. Like it would give you
I cannot deny there's a massive
polisher
benefit.
Yeah.
But the thing is like my dog was not cooperating with me through most of my playthrough. I yelled at the dog for most of my playthrough.
Why?
And it's even funnier because I decided to call my dog Meat. Just meat, like he's just a bag of meat.
And so Meat evil.
Would never. So I would hold the A button, and Meat would never come to me. He would never let me. I was always Yuna's running up to the monster. I'm sitting here waiting for my damn dog, and he's like right next to me. I'm like, "What are you doing? I'm calling you. Get under me." And so what I realize is, and this is going to be in my advice video if I make one, is go into the Buddy Plaza and change his behavior to stick near the hunter, and it's day and night. It's unbelievable the difference.
I did that, but for a different reason, because the Palamute has a scroll that does AoE healing. So I was like, you stay near me so that when you do this scroll, you heal me, and boom. So I did
my gosh, having him next to you for riding around is so good.
It is. It is extremely good. Now, so in multiplayer, you used your Palico. What do you think that I'm using when I'm in multiplayer?
I think you're still sticking with your dogs.
Nope.
No?
Every
You're
single
using cats?
time I use the Palico. Every single time. Because in multiplayer you get more openings to sharpen, so it's not as big of a deal. Not to mention that if you really need to sharpen and you think that you're going to get screwed, you can basically like find a wall, climb up the wall, sharpen up there, then come back down. And I just really like the Palico skills, like the different assist types. I've been testing them out. Whereas in previous Monster Hunter games, my first, whenever it was about a Palico, in World it was a little bit different, but like before World, in the old games, the only thing for me was like, okay, Palico, you just heal me. Like just do a heal every now and then and don't even worry about it. I think I even had some Palicos that were like passive, like don't even attack the monster. Just sit there and sing songs and whatever, right?
Don't get in the way.
Yeah. So this time around, I didn't even try the healing Palico because I was more aware of how things worked in GU. And I was like, no. For starters, start with the bombing Palico just to see what happens with the bombing Palico. The bombing Palico is very interesting because he has basically the an old Gunland skill from Iceborne. Well, I say old, but yeah, it's got a Gunland skill from Iceborne, which is the Wyvern Stake Blast. It has a Palico version of it where he puts it on the monster or he puts it in the ground, and if you hit it with anything, either with an attack or anything, it explodes and does a little bit more damage in that specific spot. Nice. So that's a cool skill to have. But then I was like, okay, now I want to test out the assist Palico. And I'm not sure if you tested out the assist Palico, but this is like one of the best things. So my assist Palico with 2 traps, every now and then puts down a trap. Always useful. But the really cool skill is the default skill for the assist types is, have you seen this animation yet? This is like the cutest thing that you can. He just like shoots his little harpoon gun and he starts like reeling the monster in. Every time he does. And the best part is that the monster sometimes would be about to roar. He's like really getting ready, like a T-Rex, like puffing up his chest. And then the Palico just like just interrupts the roar, and you see the T-Rex getting like slowly dragged backwards. It's the best thing I've ever seen, dude. I love that goddamn Palico, dude.
I think ultimately the cats are going to be my favorite. They always are, and I think just the variety of some of the fun stuff they can do, and the utility is just, it's overwhelming if you know how to get the right cat. Which I am going to work on a guide, but that's going to take some time. But like, there's a lot of different types of cats you can get in this game.
Have you noticed if there's templates this time around, like in Generations? Because I don't think there's templates.
There's not.
It's just completely random.
So for example, let's say supports, or let's say the passive skills, right?
Yeah.
So like there are categories saying like, okay, there's like 20 skills. This one can be learned at level 5. These ones are learned at level 10. These ones unlock at level 15. These unlock at 20, right? Mm-hmm. So you say, okay, well, I understand that each skill has a level attached to it, but the amount, they're going to tell you, okay, we're going to give you 10 of them. No, it's completely random, which means I think it's unlikely, but you can get a cat that has 10 level 20 skills only. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because there's no category, like it's not saying, okay, we'll give you 3 from this, 2 from this category, or no, it's completely random. So
now,
like any permutation you can think of is somehow possible. Now there is a tendency, like this cat has a higher tendency to have this one, this cat has this, but they don't have anywhere it's like this cat can't learn it. So like if you want to have that bombing cat that also can lay traps and heal, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, you can get it. Now the question is, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? The fact that it's so random.
I think they better add in the ability to teach moves when they make an ultimate version of this game.
Yep.
If they don't, then it will be a bad thing. If they do, then it's fine.
Yeah.
That is going to... I think in the base game, it's fine because like it's just icing on the cake at this point. But like once we start getting into like G rank, like master rank, no, they have better add in an ability, because then you get into a situation where cats become ultra disposable. because you're going to end up finding a cat that has a slightly better config.
Yep.
And you can never change them, so you're just going to start throwing away all your cats.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of.
That's where we're at right now, pretty much. Like I was kind of disappointed because you spend a lot of time like making your cat for your first cat for your character, and it'd be one thing if they'd at least let me save the appearance, which they don't, which is weird because like you can save the appearance of your character, but you can't save the appearance of your cat. Because, if you save the appearance of the cat, you can basically recreate the cat whenever, you can just have them constantly
with different skills, yeah.
Yeah, just scout for cats that look like this. But otherwise, you have to go back in there and create the cat again. And I'm like, look, dude, I spent an hour making my Palico and my Palamute. I'm not going to spend another hour making them again. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Here's another thing, like, so there's two ideas I think would be interesting. One is the generations way, which is add in the ability for cats to teach another cat a skill. Maybe make it limited so it's only like 2 or 3, whether it's a edition. Or what I thought might be interesting, if they want to keep the randomness of it just because it's kind of fun, they could have it like, let's say you have cat A, right? And then you see the scout list and there's a cat B that has a much better configuration. Then you can then say, okay, have my cat talk to that cat and swap moves so that he now has all the moves that this cat has.
Yeah.
So that, that would be, that I think even that would be forgivable. But at this point, I don't even think you can send cats to other people. I haven't tried it yet.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think that stuff is actually very limited, which is weird saying this because probably a lot of people are coming in from World and they're like, these Palicos are overwhelming. Like, what is this? And you and me are sitting over here like, this is so basic. Like,
it's
come
so
on,
simplified.
Give us more things. Like, what do you mean? Let us think. I thought that you were going to unlock the thing to teach the cats later. Like, I really did. I was playing through the game and I was just I'll just keep playing with my Palico until I can teach it new skills. And then eventually I was like, oh, I guess I won't be able to teach him new skills. Guess I got to go get another Palico. And here's the thing. So, I've talked about the bombing Palico. The healing Palico is simply just heals. Talked about the assist Palico. The gathering Palico has Plunder Blade, pretty much. You just like
that's what I'm using. That's my cat.
I don't like when I gotta be honest. I don't like when people use that cat. He
stole me a Mizutsune Claw. He stole me it, and so he's a good cat.
Yeah, it is. I actually don't like when people use that cat because it's like people are saying, "Oh, I got this because it gives me more materials," and I'm like, "So that means you hunt less?"
No.
Yes.
It just means it's more likely to steal things.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the Plunder Blade, but the other cat that we haven't talked about is the fighting type. You know what they did to the fighting type?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
He's now your buffer. He buffs. He gives you the rousing roar, which I don't remember exactly what it did in GU, but in here it does something like some minor earplugs and
nice.
I think it also increases your damage. But he can also have the skill that all the other Palicos can have, which is the power drum thing that buffs you with damage and whatnot. So
that's nice.
When I started scouting for fighting Palicos, because I was like, okay, so for my gun lance, I want to have an assist Palico so that it traps the monsters, gives me more openings. But for the sword and shield, I don't need that many openings because, it's such a mobile weapon. You're super fast. So I'm like, I want to have this fighting Palico that gives me buffs. So I start scouting fighting Palicos, and there's one skill in the Palico that I always have to have. If the Palico is with me, it needs to have that skill. Otherwise, no go. No deal. It's the deal breaker skill. Try to guess it.
What skill? What?
You can't.
Passive or
no, an active skill. And then obviously I want specific passives as well, but just the active skill. Gotcha.
I don't know. You got me. What is it?
Summune Endemic Life.
Oh, that's the one I've not seen that yet.
Dude, that, in my opinion, is one of the best skills a Palico can have. Basically, it puts down a little thing, and it summons wire bugs. It'll summon 2 wire bugs. So it summons one, nice. You pick it up, and then it's gone. You or somebody else, because anybody can pick it up. But you pick up that one wire bug, and then it's gone for a while, but the vase is still there. So by the time the duration on that wire bug ends, another one will pop up. And you can go there and get it. So it's basically 2 wire bugs that you can get by just having that skill, On top of the fact
See,
that there's
guys,
wire bugs spread all over the place, you basically just have almost 3 wire bugs at all times.
See, everybody, you can have all this type of variety, comedic effect, utility, buffing, or you can just have a dog that helps you sharpen.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's so true. But the dog also has interesting skills. I don't want to rag on the dog.
Oh,
the
yeah,
dogs
really
also
good attacks
skills.
for sure. Yeah.
And the way that they do the dogs is actually easier to get a good dog because you only have to worry about passive skills and you can swap their gear
that's it. Yeah, so it's much easier. Yeah.
So yeah, the Palamutes are easier to get. The Palicos are a lot tougher because you want to get specific skills, and then on top of it, you want to get specific passive skills, and that is just like a combination in hell. So I've been on my streaming playthrough, I've just been screaming at Yori like, you suck at your job, okay? Find me a fighter Palico with some unendemic life, critical up L, and element attack up, okay? That's all I want. And he can't find it. He can't friggin' find it. It's so frustrating.
He's just a boy. Give him a break.
Yeah, but like...
You know what I find funny? Speaking about traps and stuff, what I find really funny about this game is that you always have trap holes, but you never have shock traps.
Trap holes?
Have you noticed that?
What do you mean?
Because you can buy nets from Rondine, which means that you can always have an unlimited amount of trap holes.
You mean
because
pitfalls?
You can buy
you're scaring me. You keep calling trap holes.
Is that what they're called?
In English, they're called pitfalls and trap holes. It's a pitfall trap.
Pitfall. Sorry. Pitfalls.
It was so weird. I'm like, what the hell is he saying? Trap holes? What the hell?
Pitfall traps.
Yeah, pitfall traps. Yes.
So you buy trap tools for half off at the vendor, of course.
Yeah.
And then she sells nets for points. You can just buy 100 nets if you want. And so you always have these pitfalls, like tons of them, always. But you almost like never have shock traps.
Well, you can send
there's no easy way.
submarine to go get like thunderbugs.
Man, that cat sucks at getting honey. I'll tell you that. I sent it out there for so many times and only comes back with like 20 honey. I'm like, come on. I need a better way to get honey in this game.
Yeah, I've what I'm doing right now actually is I'm not sure if this works, but basically yesterday I went into Yori and I'm just like, give me all the gathering Palicos you got. Literally all of them. I just bought 7, and the idea for me is now I'm putting them all through the dojo to level them up slowly but surely. And I always do lagging apple so that it's like maximum boost power, whatever.
Yeah.
And eventually when I max them out, which I think the current max level is 35, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting. Maybe.
And after I get them all leveled up, it's going to be like, okay, now 3 of you go to the submarines, 4 of you go to the Myacenaries, and boom, done. And I'm just going to have gathering Palicos. And here's the thing. I'm going to equip them. I don't know if it affects anything. I'm going to equip them with armor and stuff. I don't know if that affects it.
But that's how much we need honey and how much we need Zenny in this game.
Yeah, dude. You really do. The things that I'm farming for right now is honey, blue mushrooms, and... although blue mushroom is really not needed, and scatterfish. Scatterfish was really annoying because I wanted to get it, and they don't really explain it to you. I don't think they explain it to you as well. You need to have one of the item that you want to farm. Otherwise, you can't farm for it, which has always been the case in Monster Hunter, right? But, I don't think they even say it in this game, whereas in World, they specifically said, look, you need to give me one of the item so that I can plant it, and then you can get more items.
Yeah.
And because of that, my entire first playthrough, I'm like, I can't get scatterfish. I can't use bombs. I need scatterfish to make my bombs. And then eventually I fished one. And after that, I could just do it in the submarines. I'm like, you dumb idiot. What is wrong with you?
So I got to ask you because it's the big question. But of all the new monsters, of course, no spoilers, of all the announced new monsters or whatever, I'll put it, who's your favorite?
Easy answer. Chunky boy.
Is it? It's still Tetrapodon, huh?
It's chunky. Because here's and I'm so sad with the fact that we still don't have layered armor because I love his armor set and I can't use it. Like, you want to know how bad it is out there for gun lancers? Yesterday, I was actually, making a concerted effort to figure out, okay, which one is like the armor set that I should most definitely get. for, like a staple piece for the gun lance right now. And I'm very sad to report it's Renoplos. Renoplos is like the best. Renoplos chest and Renoplos hands are like the best. Have you seen Renoplos hands? You know what they are? It's like a little stub with 3-pronged claws. It's so bad. Oh, wow. It's terrible. So it's like, I'm super happy that Capcom sent me like the deluxe codes.
Yeah, the amiibo for the armor set, because that set looks really good.
No. That was Nintendo. The amiibo was Nintendo, but Capcom sent me the deluxe code so I can have the Kamurai armor set. And I'm just like, that's it. That's what I have to use because I don't want to look like a Renoplos, dude. But it's very disappointing that those are at least so far, those are the only pieces with artillery in the whole game.
So no decos for it yet?
No, there's decos. There's decos. Yeah, you can just get it out of decos, but it's just like, Actually, no. There's one more piece with artillery. Never mind. There's one more piece with it. So that's the drink.
I put a funny. Yeah, so that's the Tetranodon drink. We went to the Capcom Cafe.
Is that
you guys
mint?
Can't see this, but we went to the cafe and they had lots of themed stuff. They had like the Dango set. They had a Tetranodon inspired matcha latte drink.
Oh, so really this nice. This is latte.
Yeah, green tea and milk.
Okay. That actually sounds good. So did you drink that, or because I saw that you were like tweeting a bunch of different pictures, and I'm like, you're gonna give yourself a coronary drinking all of those damn things. Did you drink all of them?
That was Yuna. No, that was Yuna's. I had 2 different drinks.
So Yuna drank the correct drink, the Tetranodon drink.
Well, we both like him. He's a really fun monster. But my favorite, Almudron. Oh my god, I love that thing.
I hate Almudron, dude.
I like it's which is weird because I've been looking on Twitter because I'm in love with the monster, and then I got to fight it several times. I'm like, oh, okay, now I really love this monster. And then I look online and people are like, I don't get this guy, or he's annoying, or blah blah blah. I'm like, what? Exactly. He's like the best monster. He's like one of my favorite monsters in recent years. He's so fun.
He's terrible. I hate him. I hope he dies a violent death and never comes back.
He's amazing. And then when he makes like he does. I won't spoil it. I'm actually not going to say what it is, but he does something with his tail.
Yes.
Which is so damn amazing. When you see it the first time, you just start laughing because you're like, what? Are you kidding me? Really? And then, yeah, it's fun. But, God, I love that monster.
I don't like him at all. Listen, I'll tell you right now, my chunky boy would beat that mud boy into the dirt, okay? You would beat him into the dirt.
When he does the mud maze, it's so easy to get around it. And then it's also a huge opportunity because he makes his mud maze, he sits in the back, and if you can get there fast enough and you can get the down, he stays down for like ever, and you could just whack at him like crazy.
But the mud maze is now what really bothers me about him. What bothers me about him is the way in which his hitbox works is kind of weird. How like half of his body goes below the ground and then his tail is on the outside. That when he
looks so cute when he does that.
The thing is, when he does that, particularly for Gunlance, it gets really tricky to pick a spot to hit him in. Because like Gunlance is the type of weapon that, because of, I was gonna say limited mobility, even though you have Blast Dash and Evade Extender is completely insane right now. But like, you usually plan things in Gunlance. Let's say if you were comparing it to, for instance, when you're shooting at something with a gun, with the Gunlance, you're usually going center mass. And his center mass is gone whenever he does that thing, right? Because he's like, oh, my head is over here, my tail is over there, and in the middle there's nothing, and I hate it.
Yeah,
I can't.
If you wanted that, you can't have it.
Yeah, usually I like going straight for the middle with the Gunlance, but yeah, that makes him a little bit trickier. With the Sword and Shield, I found him considerably easier, and it wasn't as much of a problem. But with Gunlance, I really don't like fighting him. It's super weird, and I miss a lot of hits. Because Gunlance, even though you can move fast, when you are doing like the heavy attacks, the heavy combos, it's still somewhat slow. So, gets tricky to hit him and stuff.
So here's a fun question then for you. Who's your favorite monster to ride?
My favorite monster to ride... I mean,
non-spoilery announced monsters. Who's your favorite?
It's kind of hard because there's 2 of them. I mean, on the one hand, I love my chunky boy. my chunky boy is a lot of fun because the back K gives you the butt slam. It's like basically whenever I ride him, I just start saying butt slam, bam, and just like right on top of them. And he can really get some airtime with those butt slams. So he's a lot of fun. But I mean, there's just also something special about Basarios. And there's another one that I know has been announced, but he's kind of been a little bit more subtle in the trailers. He's got a cooler laser attack, but I'm not going to mention him. But yeah, he would be the other one. But a comparison would be Basarios. Basarios also has big laser. And yeah, the laser is always fun. You're just like, particularly if you're in a situation where the three monsters are like coupled together, and you're just like, oh, let me just like aim right down the middle. Laser just like right down the middle. It is so satisfying. When I show that to my friend who's starting Monster Hunter right now, it was like, what the hell? I was like, hey, dude, check this out. Just like, that's very satisfying. How about you?
So I haven't written everything, but I gotta say the sleeper hit for me is Agnesum. Agnesum is so fast. It's like a little chicken running around the stage. He's really fun.
I like his his crane style moves that he does. He's like some friggin' Karate Kid, just like going around.
He's the Yeet Wyvern, you know. I love him.
Yeah, and the thing is, like when you do his back A, like the back A's are usually the most powerful attacks of most monsters. When you do his back A, he like spins around, so he goes sideways and naturally dodges whatever attack is coming your way, and then he goes back in, kicks the other monster, starts flying, and then you can follow that up with a beak down. It's brutally satisfying as well. Yeah, Agnesum is really cool. What about Yuna? So which is Yuna's favorite monster? Is it still Mizutsune now that she's actually fought all of the monsters?
I think so, yeah. What was really interesting, though, and it's not her favorite by any means, but it's an interesting story, is that she dreaded hunting Bishaten. She was not interested to hunt it. She actively tried to avoid it in the village because she just saw it in the trailers, and she's like, I don't want to fight something that's just throwing shit at me. Like, that seems annoying. But then when we finally got to face it, she's like, well, that was interesting. Because he's a really fun hunt.
Bishaten
and the fact that...
Go ahead.
No, the fact that you can knock the shit out of his hand and it falls over and you can pick it up and use them.
It's
so fun.
It is. It's so
like we were both we're picking up the poison fruits and chucking it at him and getting him poisoned. It was so funny.
It's funny that you can throw this stuff back at him. Yeah. I hadn't even. It was only on my 4th or 5th Bishaten that I noticed that sometimes he even drops flash fruit. You can even flash him with his own fruit. Because like the first couple of times he didn't drop those, and I was like, oh, okay, I can heal or I can poison him, but. The thing about Bishaten I found is that he has a very how should I explain this? His moveset makes it so that you tend to miss a lot of your hits because of the way that he kind of moves around. Agnesum has a little bit of that, not as much, but Bishaten really leans into it, the way that he moves.
He's a tricky guy.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Particularly if you have a lumbering weapon, you might struggle a little bit. But yeah,
I gotta say, every version of the monster that they have in this game, I preferred over previous versions. Like, I like Rathalos. I think is much better than he's ever been. I think Tobi Kadachi's better than it was in World. Basarios is no longer just sitting there like he's interesting now for the first time almost ever. Every monster except for maybe like I can care less about Anjanath, so I like Ditto. They've done something really good to all the monsters, and I really, really prefer Narga and Zenogre in this game. I definitely like them a lot more than I like them in World, or Iceborne, but I like them even more in this one.
Yeah, I do think that they've done some interesting things to monsters, like in Monster Hunter World, Tobi Kadachi was a pushover. Like, he was straight up a pushover. Like, you'd walk in on him, beat the crap out of him, like he was worthless. Like,
he's an end mid-tier monster, early high-tier monster.
I'm still scared of him, dude. Like, he'll mess me up if I go against Tobi. Like, I was surprised. The first time I fought Tobi, I was like, damn, what the hell happened? They give him steroids or something? Like, he actually hurts when he hits you. He actually does a lot of tricky stuff, and it's like, in World, he would also have some of these moves. The difference is you'd like oh, sure, you're gonna do that. Let me just like slap you across the face. It's like, oh no, don't hurt me, daddy. It's like, it's that meme of the Doge meme where there's a little dog who's like scared in the corner, and it's like, this is Toby Kadachian world, and then there's the one big muscular pup, and it's like, and this is Toby Kadachi in Rise. Like, yeah, Toby Kadachi will kick your ass straight up, which was very very refreshing.
The one thing, here's what I want to know, if this is just me and Yuna, but we have a hard time distinguishing its icon from Nargacuga. Nargacuga's icon is very different than it's ever used to be, and it looks like an inverted Tobikadachi from a distance. It's for us, it's a little hard to tell the difference.
I can't say I've had that. Could be because I play reasonably close to my TV, so like I have a good visual. If I was playing further back, maybe I would have that issue. I've heard a couple of people complain about confusing some of the portraits for sure, yeah. But I like what they've done with the portraits though. That art style initially, I almost thought that was going to be placeholder stuff, you know, from the first times that we saw it. But that particular art style has actually grown on me considerably. Like when I started looking at the stickers that you get from the collector's edition, like because you get these stickers that have the art like this.
Oh, nice. Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this looks amazing. I actually took a copy of these stickers to give to my son because he thought they looked really cool as well. He's like, oh, can I have those? And I'm like, no, you can't have these, but I will take a copy of them so that you can have like a sheet with a bunch of them. But yeah, the art style on these things has grown on me considerably over my experience.
Oh, random topic changer, but I tweeted this out earlier. But we now know enough about the game that I was able to finish my bingo list for all the things that I wanted in the next Monster Hunter game before Monster Hunter Rise was even announced, and it's amazing.
Did you get everything, or was there something that you didn't get?
There's only one of them which I give it a half point, but everything else I got every single thing I wanted. Everyone. It's a full ass bingo board.
Yeah.
So like I'll run this way. So the first one was platform Nintendo Switch. I wanted it for Switch because at that point I was not telecommuting, so I was still working at an office. So I didn't even get a lot of time with Iceborne because of that. So, but now I want to say thanks to the pandemic, because the pandemic is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But one of the few fortunate things that's been a side effect has been working at home. So being able to have more hands-on time. I still wanted something for Switch though, so.
Yeah,
that was there. Seamless maps, I love that from Iceborne. That was back. Damage display from Iceborne, that's back. Fast gathering, it's even faster than I thought it would be.
That one should be 2 points for that one because it's way faster.
Like that, you just hit a button and it gives you everything. It's just like wow.
Remember how we used to think that was a bug? We used to think that was a bug when the demo came out. We're like,
I know, right?
This is like a bug.
No, it's great. The no paintballs, which is gone, which is great. No mantles. I liked the idea, but that was gone, so I was happy. Craftable decorations are back, and I'm thrilled about that.
Yep.
Especially also because this makes me think, like, when they added new monsters via DLC, that also means we're probably getting new decorations as well.
Yep.
Out of the materials, so it's super exciting for me. No trading for gems, which is something I'm very happy about. I still wish that there was some bad luck protection. Maybe there is behind the hood, but I doubt it because it is Monster Hunter. But I like the fact that when you get a plate in this game, it's actually like it's a big deal. Like you're like, yes, you get like a rare material. They're not like handed out like candy from the Elder Melder. So I still think there's some more room they can do to make it a little bit, RNG can be really mean to some people. So
yeah,
doing 50 hunts for one material is never a fun thing. But on the flip side, I don't like just trading them so easily. That I wasn't happy about. No Clutch Claw, even though I enjoyed Clutch Claw, so it wasn't like I hated the mode and I didn't want. I was fine with it being in there for just one game. So backwards evading, obviously, seeing your sharpness going down, that was there. Colorful, vivid visuals, we got that. Although I will admit, you had mentioned it as well, I think, but the first two maps are not nearly as colorful as the other ones. Like the Flooded Forest and the Shrines are a little bit dull.
Those are not the first two maps, though. The first two maps is Shrines and Frost.
Yeah, but the frost and the others and the village, everything else is so colorful that I give it a pass.
Flooded forest definitely feels, it feels a little bit swampy, and I guess that's the idea. It's supposed to feel swampy.
Yeah.
But when you put that into a game, it's like it's a weird area. But to make up for it, you have the giant pyramid there, so
Exactly, yeah. Non-cluttered map, so things do feel more intimate. The fights are very 1-on-1, 3-on-1, 2-on-1 type of ideas. Quirky humor, absolutely. Everything in the marketing so far has been really quirky around the dogs and the cats and the owls and all that stuff.
Some of the crazy weapons that you start unlocking when you get to high rank and stuff. There's some really crazy stuff.
I got to get that Switch axe. Oh my god, I need it. Offline mode as well, so that's back obviously. Global release day 1 for everybody. That's great. Pending a weird timing issue that Capcom had, unfortunately, but that sucks. But it was still the same day, so that's good.
There's been also some serious issues with some retailers. Like apparently they didn't have enough stock or something like that. So there's a lot of people that are having their orders delayed all the way into April, which is...
Oh, man. Well, did you know the game sold out in Japan? Physically, they're totally sold out.
Oh, yeah. I tweeted about it yesterday. I'm like, hey, where are all the people that were saying that this game was going to flop because it was a Switch exclusive? Like, you guys are all really friggin' quiet all of a sudden. What happened? It's like, it seems like it's doing just fine. Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, for a single platform release, that's I think it's one of I think it's like Capcom's biggest release ever for a single platform.
For a single platform, probably, I would imagine, considering the amount of time that the game's been out, and it's like 4 million sales already. So it's
three days, 4 million globally. We don't know the breakdown, but obviously it's sold out here in Japan. So they're taking pre-orders for April. I want to say April 7th or something, but they have stock coming early April. There's obviously digital sales will come up, so I think it's off to a great start. Training room, at that time we had no idea that they were going to make it so much better than we even had.
The training room is so good. It's like the training room for me especially, like to do weapon tutorial is the best thing ever. Like I don't have to spend too much time explaining the concept. I just like, okay guys, here's a parrying attack. I just go make the monster stomp so that I can parry. Boom, done.
So Nargacugas are no longer going to be extinct when I start doing my tutorials.
Yeah.
That's good. New unexpected mechanic, obviously the wire bugs was that. Cultured world, I mean, come on, how much culture can you ask for when you got Kamura and the whole everything being so themed?
It's so good. I love that village.
We got unique monster types. I mean, what I meant by types here was just something that was new, not just all flying wyverns. We got like monkey bats, we got kappa fat froggy boys, and there's the umbrella birds based off of yokai. Like there's so much creativity in some of these monsters that was great. Rejoined of DC. We've actually done this. Me and Yuna actually had a DC, and I was able to go back in no problem and join the quest, which was great. So that's nice that we can do that. And I did not expect the online to be this fast. Like the connection.
Yeah,
and everything
the online is I'm super surprised as well. But yeah, the online is super solid.
So last 4, photo mode, which I never thought we would actually get 2 different photo modes. Now you got the one with the owl.
Yeah, the owl
carrying the Kahoot, carrying the camera.
That's how I took my my screenshot where it looks like I'm hanging out with Rondine.
4-person hub. I know there's a lot of people who are like, why the hell would you want that? Honestly, ideally, there would be a choice, right? You can have 16. You can just say, how many players do you want in your hub? That would be the ideal thing, but because they weren't adding that, probably, because they didn't, in Iceborne, I said, okay, well,
I think that
give
might
me my
also
4-person, though.
I think that might also be, at that point, it might be a limitation of the console, because this game is stretching the Switch to, like, its limits, I feel like. It has to.
Yeah.
With the amount of, like, if you've been on a 4-player Rampage, it is insane. It is actual, because like I did that yesterday, because I was testing the multiplayer. Oh yeah, it runs and it's like There's 5 monsters in that map. There's 4 players. Explosions going off all over the place. There's the villagers on top of the villagers on top of the artillery mounts firing ballistas and cannons. There's the automatic wyvern fire artillery guns all going off at the same time. There's the NPCs coming off and doing their attacks. There's the your pals. There's all of these things happening at once. And the game was running fine. For me, at least. The game was running fine.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But, yeah. There is,
that
however...
RE engine is
however, an area in the flooded forest that I do get massive frame drops in. It's not unplayable, but there is one very specific area that, for whatever reason, maybe they need to do another pass on that particular area. But it's a cave. And it's got a lot of like bioluminescence. It's got water. It's got reflections. It's got a bunch of stuff happening. And when you go down there, then yeah, the frames take a dump. But other than that, the game runs pretty much flawless on most other places from what I can tell. I haven't really found any other area besides that one little cavern in the flooded forest that the FPS feels really bad.
That's crazy.
It is.
Last 2 was Udatani music. So I gave this one a half point because his compositions are featured. So stuff like Mizutsune's theme song, like things that he did, are still in the game, although he is not, and he's listed in the credits, I think. I don't think he did much composing for this game, though, so I give this half a point. But what we got is just blows my mind. Like we were saying earlier, the composers that they used are so good. Everybody involved, just like damn, like knock it out of the park.
The soundtrack is
amazing. Yeah, and last one was Ichinose. I wanted him back as a director, and boom. So that's like it's as if they went into my heart and just pulled out everything I wanted and said, "Here you go, Gaijin Hunter. Thank you for waiting."
It's really, really good. Like I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think I like it more than I do Monster Hunter World, which is a lot. I like it more. I do think I do think that World had a more robust endgame by the time that it came out. But then again, World wasn't developed during a friggin' worldwide pandemic and in the middle of a massive data theft. So I think it's somewhat understandable.
See, I'm not that far along yet that I can comment on it, but I have a little mixed feelings about that because I was going back through my own memory and I was going back through World. World didn't have an end game beyond just hunting monsters for decorations. That's all it was.
Exactly. But the thing is, you had another tier of difficulty to work towards after you finish, right? Because like you'd finish the game.
Are they that difficult though?
The tempered monsters, some of them were pretty challenging. So it's like you basically had a reason to continue to min-max your sets. And, and here you're still min-maxing your sets so that you get faster hunts and all of that stuff. But I think that, we're basically min-maxing our sets for the April update. That's kind of like what I think we're going to be doing mostly for Endgame right now.
I suppose so, yeah. But I guess for someone who never got into the decoration drop game of the RNG, there was no Endgame for me for World. It was the same. You're just hunting and collecting fun stuff, and that was it. And to me, that's fine for a base game. I don't think the concept of Endgame really comes into play until you get an Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, Ultimate is going to be when stuff really is going to like start flying off the walls. But still, I still have plenty of things that I want to do. I want to get started on my sword and shield sets on my main character. I want to get started on, min-maxing a gunland set, which I still haven't fully min-maxed it because there's still parts that I need. Because, it's all fun and games that you can craft decorations, but that stuff all requires lots and lots and lots of materials. So and lots of Zenny. But anyway, guys,
the struggle is real.
We could stay here and chat for a couple of more hours, but Gaijin needs to go back and play more with Yuna because even though I've already finished the game, he hasn't finished the game, and he still needs to binge a whole lot more. And also get Yuna some dinner because Yuna's already home and she's like eagerly awaiting in the room behind guys. Just like, can you guys just wrap it up already so that I can go play games with my dad? Just like stop.
You old man, stop it.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed another episode of the Third Fleet podcast. For those of you that thought that we were going to be stopping after the game was out. Yeah, good luck. Now we just have much more stuff to talk about. We didn't even get into the last trailer, which
we didn't get into anything. So I think next time we'll structure it a little bit more. But it's just we could ramble on for days about this game. It's so good.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one as per usual. There will be links to all of Gaijin's stuff in the description. So I'm sure you guys are already all subscribed and stuff. But that's going to be it for today. We'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe,
and happy wirebug jumping. Happy hunting, everybody.
Happy wirebug
and if you don't have the game, I hope you get it soon.
Yeah.
Okay. See you in the next one.